And one of the connections that Dwayne Davis gets through his association with Zip Martin is with Sean Puffy Combs, who was then the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment.
And did he ever respond?
Yes, he responded, no, we'll take care of it. So something like that.
Diddy's own attorney just admitted he cannot save him after Keefe D named Diddy in open court for Tupac's takeout. Word is, the man who was in the Cadillac that night finally put the money and the order on the record, and now even the legal team is saying the walls are closing in too fast. The courtroom just went quiet for real. Keefe D is on the stand. Prosecutors walked the jury through the old connections first. They laid out how Dwayne Davis, better known as Keefe D, got tight with the West Coast through his association with Suge Knight. That same network put him in contact with Sean Combs when Combs was still running Bad Boy. According to the testimony, Diddy needed security when he came out west. He was worried about Mob Piru and the Rollin' 40s. Keefe D agreed to stay close and act as unofficial security for Combs and his artists. The goal was simple: keep problems from jumping off.
And one of the connections that Dwayne Davis gets through his association with Zip Martin is with Sean Puffy Combs, who was then the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment. Sean Combs wanted some security when he came out to the West Coast. He was worried about Mob Piru. He was worried about the members of Death Row Records. And so Dwayne Keefe D. Davis agreed to be around to act as unofficial security for Sean Combs and his artists when they came out west. Specifically to ensure there are no problems with Mob Piru and Death Row Records. And this took a rivalry between Mob Piru and Southside Compton Crips and escalated it.
So I want to backtrack. You said that you was on top of the world until you met Puffy. What you mean by that?
Man, shit, I was getting 300 kilos a month, man, balling, man. Didn't nobody know about me. My shit was smooth, dude. My shit was laid out smooth, man. I met your motherfucker there, and all the heat and thunder coming around with your mother, man. Brother love, come show some love. That's all I can say. Show some love, brother love. You know, shit. Brother, I be seeing you doing your little pretty dance and all that, man. Show some love, homie. Come on, man. Don't be like that, brother love. I was on top of the world till I met your mother, dude. Shit is wrong, dude. Come on, homie. I need something. Throw a dog a bone or something. Sit up there talking about you, daddy love. Show us some love.
That arrangement is what the streets are now looking at with different eyes, because the same Keefe D, who was supposed to keep the peace later, admitted he was in the white Cadillac the night Tupac got shot. Allegedly, dude is saying Diddy offered him money just to silence Pac. The jury is hearing the details straight from the man who was there.
Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions. But most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there, things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare of his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just needed to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. And he says, I just needed to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem, that's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's what the agreement amount was, $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to Suge or Tupac?
Both
or
of them.
Both.
Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the shit talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle.
Now, before we go any further, let's rewind back a bit. The night Pac got taken out, driver was Terrence Brown. Rear driver side was DeAndre Big Dre Smith. Rear passenger side was Orlando Anderson. Keefe D sat in the front passenger seat. They left their hotel around 11 that night, hunting for the black BMW with Suge Knight driving and Tupac riding shotgun. Y'all remember that night started earlier at the MGM Grand. Tupac and the death row crew jumped Orlando Anderson in the lobby after the Tyson fight. Security broke it up and sent everybody out. Keefe D and his people met up with 2 more and started planning. They knew Tupac was headed to Club 662. They cruised the strip until they spotted the car. At the light on East Flamingo and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside. Windows came down. Shots rang out. Tupac took hits in the chest, arm, and thigh.
After the fight, Tupac was still in that mode.
Hey. When Tyson get in the ring, he knocked motherfuckers out. Well, that's what Tupac gonna do.
He was still charged up.
Everybody that go to jail come out, they got good luck.
That's very addictive.
Kiss me, I'ma knock they out.
If he didn't have anybody to fight, he'll find somebody to fight.
Former Las Vegas officer Gary Dale rode in the ambulance with Tupac. He asked him multiple times who did it. Tupac was still talking. His answer was simple: no, we will take care of it. Something like that. He refused to give a name. 6 days later, he was gone.
Did you wind up riding anywhere with Mr. Shakur?
Yes, I rode to the hospital in
And
the
during-
ambulance with him.
During that time period, between the time you get to Mr. Shakur and the time period he gets taken into the hospital, are you able to have any sort of communication with Mr. Shakur?
He was still talking, and I was trying to convince him to tell me the name of whoever his assailants were.
And did he ever respond?
Yes, he responded, no, we'll take care of it. So, something like that.
Said, no, we'll take care
We'll
of
take
it.
care of it, something like that.
And that's the only thing you were able to gather from Mr. Shakur?
Yeah, I couldn't get him to talk to me any further than that.
Keefe D has spent years putting versions of this story on record. Police interviews, documentary appearances, his own book, podcasts. He admitted being a leader in the Southside Crips, the significance of the chain snatching at the Lakewood Mall that set the whole thing off. He admitted being in Las Vegas the night of the fight. Dude says he was angry that Tupac stomped his nephew, so he hunted Tupac and Suge Knight that night. Then he got a firearm from Eric Zip Martin. He admitted being in the white Cadillac and making the U-turn to confront the BMW. Those words are now the main evidence sitting in front of a jury.
Here they come that BMW and here you corner. Balls, Tupac. I was like, there you go. Here the U-turn, what supposed to make it just one U-turn. They was in a little lane. We just pulled up on the side, checked every car, see where they was.
So what directed your attention to him was some girl shouting at Tupac?
Tupac, he gave his son away. Otherwise, they would have gone away. He all ran out quick. You know how you do. They would have he gone.
You did a U-turn, so then you pull alongside of it. You got into the car. Have you already handed him the gun at this point, or at what point do you hand him the gun?
I thought he was going to pull alongside. No, I don't know that. I don't know him. You know, he pulled on his side.
So you were fitting to blast if you had to, or you were just...
Yeah, we were on our side all the way. Okay.
So you hand the gun into the backseat.
Yeah.
You can hear Ray.
Yeah, Dre was like, no. And now he's like, dude, fuck.
The defense is calling all of it exaggerated and made up for money and attention. Keefe D pleaded not guilty and turned down a 15 to 20 year plea deal. But the prosecution is treating those old statements like confessions. And now the man is on the stand, naming the person he says put the money up. That is the part that has Diddy's attorney looking shook. For years, the claim has floated that about a year before the Diddy stood in a room full of Southside Crips and offered $1 million to have both Tupac and Suge handled. Those words came from Keefe D's own mouth in interviews that could not be used against him at the time. Now they are back in the light while the trial is live.
There's also, you go into the book, that apparently there was supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money and buying a nightclub with it.
That's what the FBI said.
The FBI said that.
Yeah.
The personal angle is what the streets cannot stop talking about. Word is, the connection between Diddy and Tupac ran deeper than industry colleagues. Some insiders have described it as obsession on Diddy's side. Old footage and photos from performances and public moments keeps getting pulled up. The last time the two were seen together in public was at Diddy's birthday party. Allegedly, something happened that night that ended whatever they had. Some are saying Tupac walked away right there. Less than a month later, the shots rang out on the strip.
Nothing. I don't know. I never said anything. Oh, it sounded so dancing.
Keefe D's version, the one now sitting in open court, is that the hit was ordered because Tupac ended it and refused to stay quiet or controlled. The tattoo of Tupac's skull over Diddy's heart still gets brought up every time this story resurfaces. People keep asking what it really meant, respect, or something that never fully healed.
In the process of being on Google, I came across another photo. This one, to which I had to blink multiple times to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. Does that skeleton look familiar to anybody? Like, if you could take a wild guess, is there any specific person with a bandana that might come to mind? And so because that black and white picture was a little fuzzy, I went down a rabbit hole because I'm like, no, I need to see this tattoo as clear as I possibly can. Am I tripping? Is that not a skeleton with a bandana wrapped around his head? Tattooed on the heart side of his chesticles? Like, when they say that reality is stranger than fiction, I just don't even want to go down any more rabbit holes regarding this man or anybody in Hollywood for that matter. These folks crazy.
Online users been reacting to the whole Diddy Tupac drama. This person wrote, I think he had a huge crush on Tupac. Then this user said, Wendy Williams tried to tell everyone about him years ago, allegedly. Another replied, she was right about a lot of celebs. Now, Eric Von Zip Martin, a close associate of Diddy, his name keeps surfacing. Keefe D claimed the gun used that night was linked to a car connected to Von Zip. Even members of Tupac's family have asked why that trail was never fully investigated. Kirk Burroughs, one of the co-founders of Bad Boy, kept journals during his time around Diddy. One entry noted that just days before Tupac was taken out, Diddy asked him to rent cars for a drive from New York to Las Vegas. Gene Deal, who once ran security for Diddy, has said the Keefe D trial could reopen the entire investigation because Keefe D's legal strategy may revolve around explaining why Tupac was targeted in the first place. If that explanation involves both money and a personal rejection, the story does not end with the man in the Cadillac. It goes back to whoever allegedly financed the hit.
Speaking of Puffy, right? How do you feel about the rumor that Puffy, he gave a guy named Eric Von Zip a check for $1 million to give to Keefe D to kill Tupac?
I'm familiar with the story. I'm familiar with the dude. My man Big Psych, rest in peace, used to know that dude.
So you met Von Zip before. So how does that make you feel, man? Somebody that you met, and I'm sure that he knew that she was Tupac's brother. How does that make you feel knowing that he's the one that provided Keefe D with the gun to kill Tupac?
I mean, it's all f***ed up. It was a setup. It was a plot to my brother. I feel f***ed up about it. I don't know that, but I ain't got no love for none of them.
If they want to pull Diddy into that, they gotta mitigate circumstantial evidence. Anybody could be a witness for you, but what can they prove? Somebody who's gonna have to say, I heard this conversation, this was a handshake or a nod or something went down, and it's gonna be hard to prove. All I said was, I saw a check for $1 million, right? Eric Von Zip had a check for $1 million.
Suge Knight has been speaking from behind bars. He called the killing a straight assassination, not some chain snatch or color war. He said people can talk freely about who took out Kennedy, but when it comes to Tupac, nobody really wants the full truth. Suge is on the witness list. So are members of Tupac's family, former Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman and Governor Joe Lombardo. The man who was driving the car that night is finally weighing in while the only person ever charged is on the stand.
And Death Row Records founder Suge Knight had a lot to say about the Tupac Shakur trial during a jailhouse interview with TMZ. Knight was in the car with Tupac the night he was shot on the Strip in September of 1996. Now from behind bars, he is weighing in on the case and how prosecutors are framing the killing. Here's how Knight describes it.
You know, one of the things you got to realize, this was assassination. It wasn't over no chain. It wasn't over no colors. This was assassination. And they can do one who assassinated Kennedy and everybody can talk about it.
Money B, who knew Tupac from the Digital Underground days, his personal belief is that the person who actually pulled the trigger is no longer with us. Keefe D has admitted he was in the car with his nephew and others, but Money B also believes there were other people and possibly other agencies involved in allowing the ones who carried it out to walk away clean. The jury is still being locked in. 15 prospective jurors were told to come back. The court is looking at 12 plus 4 alternates. Keefe D is the only person ever charged. His own past words are the main evidence against him, and now those words include naming Diddy in open court. Diddy's attorney has already signaled that the situation is beyond saving in the way the defense once hoped. The combination of the old admissions, the courtroom testimony, the money claim, personal motive, and the chain of connections running through his security arrangements and car rentals has left the legal team with limited room to move. The walls that protected this case for 3 decades are starting to look thinner. Trust the online community not to stay silent. One user commented, they say he was Puff's lover. Another goes, Suge was pushing Pav to go to Vegas and Puffy was pushing Big to go to LA. See what I'm getting at? Yet this person said Pac and Big wasn't supposed to go to those places. This online critic was blunt. Diddy did it, and now he's going to pay. What happens when the full testimony is on the record? Does Keefe D stick to the stories he has told for years, or does the pressure of a real trial force something even heavier into the light? And if the personal fallout is the real motive, how many other names who got close and then pulled away are still carrying the same weight? Drop your thoughts in the comments and click on this next video. It's just as crazy.